Hi, first graders. This is Mrs. Caird, and I'm excited to be with you today. We're going to start off with a quick review. Who knows what letters are the vowels? Which letter are vowels? Right. The letters A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y are vowels. So we're going to talk about vowels today, and we're going to talk about the long vowel sounds. We know that vowels can be short or long. We're going to focus on the long vowel sounds. And we know that the long vowel says their name. So A says A in a word, E says E, I says I, O says O, and U says U. So we've talked and you've learned about some different rules for knowing when a vowel is long or short. Today we're going to look at a rule that we're going to see in the story that we read, where a long vowel sound would come at the end of a syllable. So syllables, remember, are the parts of the words that we break around the vowels. So this first word, and I bet you know it, W-E, is we. So it's one syllable. The vowel here has a long E sound, we. Let's look at the next word, pony. Can you say that with me? Pony. Good. So pony. Here's our word divided in the syllable between the two syllables, and we have a long O, pony. Okay, we have the next word, T-I-N-Y, is tiny. Can you say that with me? Tiny. Great. So we have tiny. Now, sometimes as you're reading, you might not know, should it be long or short? A good idea could be to try both. If you try this one and say, well, is it a short I? Tinny? It's not a word, is it? No, but tiny is good. And then this word down here is pupa. Can you say that with me? Pupa. Good. And that's a word we're going to see in our story today. So pupa, if I divide it through between the syllables. So we're going to see some words that have a long vowel sound in the word, and it's usually at an end of a syllable in the word. All right. So we're going to, before we get started with our decodable, we're going to look at some of the sight words we're going to see. So let me get to the screen. Okay, so here are our words. Our first one is R, A-R-E. Can you say that with me? R. Good. Our next one is every, E-V-E-R-Y, every. Can you say that one with me? Every. Good. And the third one is have, H-A-V-E, have. Can you say that one with me? Good. Have. Okay, so let's look at our first word, A-R-E. A sentence with it might be, we are going to the store. Are. Okay, so we'll take a look at that word, A-R-E. Now I'm going to mix them up. Either tell somebody or write on a blank piece of paper or on a whiteboard with a marker the correct spelling of are. Okay, let's check. A-R-E, super, are. Okay, let's go to our next word, every, E-V-E-R-Y. All right, let's look at this screen. All mixed up. Can you spell the word every You unscrambling those letters? Every. Right? Good job. E-V-E-R-Y is every. Right, and our last word, have. H-A-V-E. Okay, take a good look. And now I'm going to show you them scrambled. Can you spell the word have, either out loud or writing it down? Have. All right, you got it. H-A-V-E. Have. Super. All right. So now we are going to be ready to look at our story. Switch to our book and let's get to that. Sorry about that. Okay. And here comes our book. All right, our book is called Luna Moth. And there's a long U word, Luna, Luna. Okay, a little bit bigger. Okay, so Luna Moth. So this book is going to give us facts about a Luna moth. Do you think it's a fiction or nonfiction book? Right, it's nonfiction. It's going to tell us information about the moth. So the author is Laura Appleton Smith, and the illustrator is Carl Brandenburg. All right, so let's get started and look for those long vowel words. A tiny Luna moth egg sits on a walnut leaf. The egg is as big as the tip of a pen. The tiny egg sits on the leaf for 2 weeks. Finally, a little caterpillar pops from the egg. The caterpillar's diet is leaves from trees and plants. The caterpillar eats and eats. The tiny caterpillar is able to eat up the 2 walnut leaves every day. As the caterpillar develops or gets bigger, its skin splits. The caterpillar wiggles from the split skin. The caterpillar has a new and bigger skin to grow into. When the caterpillar is 4 weeks old, its body will be fully developed. At this step in its development, the caterpillar uses its silk to spin a cocoon. The silk is like the silk of a spider's web. The caterpillar is in the cocoon for 2 to 3 weeks. But in the cocoon, the caterpillar is not resting. The caterpillar is transforming itself. At this step in its development, the caterpillar is called a pupa. A pupa is the step in development between being a caterpillar and a moth. Finally, the cocoon opens. A Luna moth wiggles from it. When the Luna moth exits the cocoon, its body is big and its wings are small and soft. The Luna moth's wings have to open and fill with fluid from the moth's body. The fluid fills up and expands the moth's wings. The Luna moth rests on a tree trunk until the evening. This will enable her new wings to dry and stiffen. Finally, she lifts up on her fantastic wings and begins a hunt for a mate. And after meeting her mate, the Luna moth will spend 1 week dropping tiny eggs onto walnut leaves. Here's the stages that we just went through. The end. All right, great job. Let's come back here. Okay, so that was a good story with information about a Luna moth. Did you see some of the words that we talked about? Let's go back and look for those sight words and the some of the words that have the long vowel sound that we talked about. So we're going to go back and we're going to find some words. So first we'll start with our long vowel words. We're going to go to page 1. We have tiny, tiny. One of the words we talked about is a long vowel sound. Okay, then we're going to go to page 9. We have B, 1 syllable word, long E, B is another example. Okay, and then our word pupa, we have a few times here, pupa, and that's one of the stages that the moth goes through. And the last word we're going to look at, there are more than just those, but we're going to find the word open. So we have O by itself, open, and that has an S on the end as well. So opens. Good. Okay. Now we want to look for our sight words we talked about. On page 5, we have every. The tiny caterpillar is able to eat up to 2 walnut leaves every day. So each day. Okay, and then on page 15, we have the word R. When the Luna moth exits the cocoon, its body is big and its wings are small and soft. And the last word we're going to find of our sight words is have, right here. The Luna moth's wings have to open and fill with fluid from the moth's body. Have. All right, great. Now we're gonna go over some of the homework pages for today. So you do have a few pages. We're only going to focus on a few pages. And again, you can print them if you want. You do not have to, though. You can either put it up on the screen and answer the questions on a blank paper or on a dry erase board with a marker, or you could always tell somebody the answers. So let's look at 2 of the pages that we're going to focus on for today. Okay, so the first one, day 1, says read and think. And the directions say, first, read the text out loud with proper phrasing, then answer each question in a complete sentence. Underline the evidence for your answers in the text and draw a line to the question it answers. So we have this is from the text, but they've got it right here for us. A tiny Luna moth egg sits on a leaf. The egg is as big as the tip of a pen. The tiny egg sits on the leaf for 2 weeks. Finally, a little caterpillar pops from the egg. Okay, so we're going to look at a few of these answers. So the first one, number 1, says, what kind of eggs is on the leaf? So I'm going to show you, if I have just a blank piece of paper, I'll put the number 1 right here. And I'm going to go back up and I'm going to look up here to find it. And if you look in this first sentence, a tiny Luna moth egg sits on a leaf. So the kind of egg is a tiny Luna moth egg. So you can say a tiny Luna moth egg is on the leaf. So I have a complete sentence and I answered number 1. And again, if you don't have the paper printed, then you wouldn't go and underline it, but you could point to the sentence where you found it and tell somebody this is where it is. A tiny, so this is the first sentence, tells you that answer. A tiny Luna moth egg sits on a leaf. Okay, we're going to do one more together to show you. The number 2 says, how big is the egg? So if I keep going after that first sentence, I see the egg is as big as the tip of a pen. So if you're writing, you will write that in a sentence. If you're telling somebody, you can tell it in a complete sentence as well. So we can write the egg is as big as the tip of a pen, period. Okay, so there's that. So you can do, redo those, and you can do the third one is going to be in the next sentence there. And you don't need to underline if you don't have it, but you can think about, did you find the evidence in the text, the proof that it was there, that that is the correct answer. Okay, so I'm going to show you what this looks like bigger here, but before that, I want to show you, we're not going to worry about the second page, we're going to do this page, the sound boxes. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So first thing, just so you can see a little bit bigger what I did 1 on and 2, and I answered them in sentences. All right, so our next homework page, and here's an example of how I did it on a blank board. You can do it on a blank paper. I took a few of the words from the page. So you're going to notice that all across are 6 boxes. You will not need 6 for every word. You will have some that will not need it. So let's look at this first word, splits. Splits. See, how many sounds do we hear in splits? Sp, l, ts. So, splits. Let's put that in our sound box. We're going to put an S, s, p, l, t. So that used every box. SPLITS. Every word, every letter is sounded out there. Okay, let's look at our next word. Silk. Silk. So we have 4 sounds. So we're not going to need 2 of our boxes. We can cross them out. So we're going to say silk. 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 Okay, let's look at this one. Moth, moth. Okay, how many sounds do we hear there? Moth. 3 sounds. So let's see what that's going to look like. So we're not going to need these last 3 boxes. So we're going to put th. Digraph makes 1 sound. So moth, the th has 1 box. And then again, and our last word we have here is mate. Mate. Can you say that with me? Mate. Okay, how many sounds? M-A-T. Okay, 3 sounds, even though there are 4 letters. We've got that A consonant E rule here. So we're not gonna need some of the boxes here. We're gonna write M-A-T, and this E goes right in there because it is silent. All right, so there are the 2 homework pages that you can focus on. You get a chance. Another great idea would be to come back and reread this story. Try and work on fluency, where you can read like you're talking. And we are finished for today. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.